4. And we are live with Getting Visible with Heike. It is all about PR today. So what is PR? Public relations. This whole topic came about because I was curious about, oh my God, I want to do photography for media kits for my clients. And then they're like, well, what goes into a media kit? So who did I ask? Lori, because she is an expert on this topic. So Lori, thank you so much for joining me for this 27-minute live conversation.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to be here, Heike. Thank you for inviting me.
You are so welcome. And yeah, this big topic of public relations. Like, I'm a photographer. I work with a lot of small business owners, entrepreneurs. So the question always comes up, do I even need a media kit? Do I need public relations? Lori, give us a little bit of a rundown. What actually is public relations? And
Of course. Let me just give a quick background into how I launched my business 2.5 years ago, because that's part of the answer. For 23 years, I worked in nonprofit management across Berks and central Pennsylvania. And in my role as an executive director or development director, I was planning events, I was working with donors and volunteer management. And in the course of that work, I discovered two things. One, I actually had a methodology to launch my own public relations business, because my role as a director for those organizations was largely public relations, marketing, of course, organization management. And so through that 23 years of experience, I learned that I actually had a methodology that I used, and that's exactly what I use at the right angle. But to relate back to your question, in the process of organizing events, panels, dinners, whatever it was, we're naturally working with speakers. We're often working with speakers. So we had keynote speakers, we had panelists. I was a chamber executive for 6 years. So I was constantly inviting people to speak to our membership. And many times I discovered, Heike, that when I would ask for a professional headshot, when I would ask for a bio, many people did not have those items in place. And so that made it more challenging for me as I was organizing the event. Sometimes people will say, just go to my website and find whatever information is there and pull one together. Well, wouldn't you want to be responsible for your own bio? That's your narrative. So in terms of public relations, what is it? It's building relationships with people, finding strategies and ways as a business owner, as a nonprofit organization, to produce growth opportunities. Not only do those growth opportunities help to grow your business, whether that's through clients or supporters, whether that's obviously through sales or revenue, but it also helps to grow your visibility, your reputation. And when you partner with a PR consultant like myself at the right angle, I'm able to research and find, working behind the scenes, those opportunities that will provide recognition, that will perhaps find you a strategic partner. Perhaps you'll get earned media, like an interview. So those are examples of the types of public relations. Often those are free. Earned media doesn't cost you anything. It's not advertising. And through those opportunities, you grow your business, but you grow your presence, you grow yourself as the face of the business.
Which is amazing. And at this point, I just want to welcome anybody who's actually listening in today. I know Heather from with the tea companies here today. And so I would just want to make sure, like, if you are listening in because you're like, is this something that might be interesting for me? Do you already have a media kit? Can you give me a yes or no? I have one, or maybe you have one started. And you're here to learn a little bit more of what else you might want to put into your media kit, so that you're ready for that next pitch, for that opportunity to, just like Lori just mentioned, to have a chance to get into newspapers or get interviews or even get onto podcast and speaking opportunities. So Jen, thanks we're starting to have some live people on board here listening to us. So yeah, let us know if you have a media kit and any questions about it, so Lori and I can maybe answer a little bit more specifically what you're interested in. So feel free to add comments. I hope I can see them. I don't always see everything come in, but I see Heather and Jen. So if you have questions, let us know. All right, Lori, let's just get into a little bit of, like, I know we just briefly touched on having a bio, having on a headshot. I'm going to wonder, you gave me a list of the different things that you put into what you consider your checklist for public relations, of fundamental for business owners. So what is the difference between a short bio and a long bio? And how short and how long do these even have to be?
I just want to, is it okay if I just take a quick step back and just say that today, yes, as Heike said, we're talking about a checklist for PR, for businesses and nonprofit organizations. These are fundamental pieces. These are the foundations that allow you to prepare yourself to get ready to become visible and to become pitch ready. So we're looking at some of these fundamental pieces. Every organization, every business owner has a narrative. And so starting with the bio, when you have a media kit, naturally a bio is an essential part of that kit. And when you think about a media kit, that's something that can be archived on your website, so that if a reporter comes to the website to see what it is exactly you do or what your expertise is, they can find these pieces itemized there and archived there. So a long bio and a short bio. We talked a few minutes ago, maybe you're going to be a speaker, a panelist, a keynote speaker. And so a short bio is about one short paragraph, which summarizes who you are, what your experience is, and why perhaps you're a good fit for whatever this is that you're doing, if it's speaking or publishing, etc. And then the longer bio is sometimes
quick intersect this. So if you're doing, so if I want to be a keynote speaker, I want to make sure that my short bio really hones in on that particular place where I'm pitching myself. So you might want to tweak your short bio depending on where you're pitching. Awesome.
Exactly. And then the longer one can be more detailed about your academic credentials, etc. So it's always good to have the short version and the longer version, because sometimes they'll request one or the other. The other thing is, it's best to have more information than not, because if a reporter's writing a story about you, they have more prepared content that they can pull from. You always want to make life easy for the people that are organizing the events, the people who are interviewing you. You always want to give more information rather than less. So again, the bio is an essential part of the media kit for a business owner.
Yeah. So just a quick intersect. I'm what we're getting in responses from our listeners here is Jen mentioned that she has a very early media kit and is looking to expand. And then Heather mentioned that she has a kit, but it's more logos, colors, fonts, so which is more your marketing, branding, initial look, which kind of helps you maybe get started with media kit, but that's not quite where that is. So bio and headshots and everything. So branding, your branding kit is different than your media kit. And I think I just want to make sure that we're understanding the difference here.
Right. And they can be components of the overall kit, obviously. And you're the expert in the in that area of photography and graphics. That is all part and parcel of the kit. And also, as you mentioned, your content will evolve over time. So I'm always tweaking mine, revising it, and again, focusing it on whatever that opportunity is that's presenting itself to me. Another part of that media kit is the LinkedIn about. I've worked with many clients who say, I really need help on my about. I don't have anything. Mine's too long. I really don't know what's included in that. The about for LinkedIn is written in the first person, and it's your first person sales pitch. And also starting that about with your personal philosophy or approach to whatever it is you do, whatever services you offer, is very significant, because that's more engaging and eye-catching for someone.
So interesting here, Heather mentioned that she has like on her website an about page, and I'm wondering if like the LinkedIn about and the about on your website, because I mean on mine, because I'm a one sole proprietor here, I'm a solopreneur, I definitely talk in the first person language on that as well, because to me it's like having a conversation with the person across from me. So what I'm hearing you say then with the LinkedIn about sounds very similar.
It is.
You're again, like you were talking about what problems you can solve, how you can interact again, what you can bring to the table in a one-on-one, hey, I'm talking to you kind of mentality, right?
Exactly. And that's an excellent starting point, using your about from your website. and you may want to tweak that for the LinkedIn. Maybe it'll be a little bit shorter.
Mhm.
And they actually have number of characters there is some limitation with LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So again, the most important thing is that it's first person sales pitch, leading in with what is your approach, what is your philosophy to what you do. That's starting to tell the story, and that's the engaging piece of it. And you can even incorporate a testimonial of sorts into that at the end if there's something that's really fitting for demonstrating what you do successfully. I would say that. The next item I have on this is for the business owner checklist for the media kit is something that I call a pitch template. I've developed one for my clients, and it's a one-page snapshot of that business owner. And
I was really wondering what that was when you sent me, and it's like, well, what is a pitch template?
Yeah, so it's a snapshot that includes your headshot, your logo, your contact information, your short bio, some remarks, again, about what you do and how you do it, some of your topics. Many people are interested in public speaking. What are the topics that you'd like to talk about? You can throw some testimonials in there. And this is all done in one sheet that, for me, on behalf of the client, I send that out and pitch them for interviews for television, radio, podcasts, newspapers. And again, it's providing some prepared information for media outlets to follow up and say, okay, I know who this person is, what they do, how they do it. And I'm looking for somebody who talks about these topics, or we're writing a story that relates to these topics. So that's something that's part of the services that I offer.
Neat. So having this as a PDF is the easiest way to pitch this then.
Exactly. It's a PDF and it has active links. So if they quickly need your headshot and all that information or graphic images, they have it all in one document.
Nice. Because I always thought like there's like different ways of like having something like a specific, like a web page maybe where you're maybe have like different headshots that they can download, or is that something in addition to that? Like
that
maybe
would be part of your media kit. Exactly. And exactly what someone mentioned on this call is that you can have your fonts and all of that. That's not outside of my area of expertise, but that can all be included as part of the media kit. Again, you're showing that you're prepared and you're making it as easy as possible for anybody to, do a write-up on you or interview you, et cetera. It shows that you have that information there, that you are a professional, and that you're ready to go. Ready being the key. You're ready to become visible, right?
And I like what you're saying, that it shows that you're professional, that you're actually taking this whole thing seriously. And it's not like, oh, I should have this, let's just throw something up. But it's another step in saying who you are, that you're an expert in what you do. And as an expert, you also showcase that in how you're presenting yourself and that includes, again, like in the type of headshots that you have. I always like, so one of the things I want to throw in with that is, especially when you're going out speaking and anywhere in public, is to have more than one headshot. Because you never know how you're being used. Like if you're like on a panel, then they throw up like different headshots on some kind of marketing piece, and your headshot needs to kind of fit in and stand out at the same time, though.
Yeah.
So you want to have some things, or you want to have maybe headshots with different backdrops, maybe wearing different colors, so that you're not like in a bright pink when the colors on their marketing piece completely looks totally off. So by offering a variety of headshots, maybe in different formats from horizontal to portrait, allows then the marketing team to pull the exact right image that will give them what they need and will make you look your best at the same time.
That's such a valuable comment. Sometimes you see somebody has a very up close shot.
Yeah.
And their face is in a little circle and it's like right there, so again, you're the professional in that area. You do such an amazing and creative job with your photography business. And it is important. And those are on my list. And also candid shots, which you do as well, to have that ready to go for your website and for other kinds of PR and marketing.
Well, especially if you're speaking, have something where you're actually maybe up on the stage where you're showcasing really what you're doing. Something, if you're an author, have something with your book
Exactly.
So people can actually see what, again, like, why are we wanting to do a write-up on you, or why I'm going to do a feature, or why are you coming in as a speaker?
Right.
So
Exactly.
thinking through again, like, what is it, the reason why you're being pitched?
So that's all part of the content for business owners, including all the photography, et cetera. And then for the business itself, some of the items on my list here are the business narrative, which is the storytelling, your business profile on LinkedIn. I often see people don't have the business profile, your tagline and your elevator pitch. Think about the narrative for your business and all the reasons why it's important to have these foundations. You have a business plan. If you have a business plan, you have the start of your narrative. That's the good news. So if you have that plan, and maybe you have a prospectus for clients, and that's the storytelling of your business. And of course, doing the pitches, as we just mentioned. So
I'm gonna stop you right there, though, because I think for people to understand that there's multiple sort of PR things that we need to have in place. Again, like, even though I'm a solopreneur, an entrepreneur working for myself, I still run a business.
Yes.
Which means I need to look at it in two ways. It's not just about me, but it's also like, who's Heike Martin Photography, right? So who is looking at Heather, at you again, as you're listening in? It's like, you are Heather, but you're also running a company where you're creating teas and all those kinds of things. So what is that narrative, right? How did you get started there? What is your expertise in all of this? Or what does the company actually do? So thinking through those two different components, and then again, having imagery and wording and everything with it. So I really found that interesting, because I did not think about that at all, that I needed to differentiate between those two.
Yes.
And so that was definitely a total,
Thank you for making that distinction, because your bio and your about for yourself is your storytelling as the business owner. But then your business narrative is about the services of the business. So you're the face of the business, but then you also have the services of the business. And your content really is your link to everything. It's your link to sales. It's your link to supporters. All of the growth opportunities that you're looking for as a business all start with the foundation of the content. And you need all these pieces in place. So your business storytelling, again, what do you do? How do you do it? Why do you do it? Why does it matter? So why is it important? So getting all of that, those bullets involved in the storytelling is how you're going to attract your target audience, for starters. LinkedIn about for your business profile. I've, again, run into many people that haven't developed that. Or they have it, but they're not really using it very often. And
which is like, don't look at me, because I'm kind of like in that same situation. I have my page, but it's like this. How do you call it? Like, it's like this hanger on. You think you need to have it, but you really don't want to use it.
Right.
So I can't wait, because I know you and I will be working together on this, because I really need to up my PR. And that is one area I am so lacking behind, because it's like, it's just another piece I have to deal with.
Right, exactly. And you know what's nice about LinkedIn? It always prompts you, the user, if you're posting on your personal or professional profile, it prompts you, do you want to also post this on your company profile? And what I've also said to clients is, by adding that company profile, you're then creating another channel through which they're going to be redirected to your website, and that's ultimately what you want. So there's that other storytelling that happens there, and developing your tagline. For me, it was where investigative reporting meets creative PR strategy, because I've always loved investigative reporting. Did a little bit of journalism when I was young. And I do a lot of research for the client and a lot of business assessment before I design the PR plan. And I feel that I'm very resourceful and creative in, developing strategies for the client. So that's where my tagline comes in. And so thinking about all those pieces and making sure that they make sense with your business, and your elevator pitch, is kind of like the short bio for yourself, is your 30-second elevator pitch. And
And
again,
that's actually,
it's evolving all the time,
yeah, and I think that's actually a really good point in there. It's like, it's not like we have to create like who knows how many different items, because you just said like elevator pitch, tag. I mean, everything should pretty much, in my opinion, have like a lot of similar words in there, as a lot of similar messaging, maybe just again, like tweak to 10 words versus a 30 word or 80 words for a longer bio. But it's essentially, you are kind of like reusing the same messaging over and over and over again in just slightly different versions.
Right.
Because you want to make sure that your messaging it's absolutely the same across all of your channels. Doesn't matter if it's for your personal, for your business, or depending on what length you're throwing out there. And as you say, like coming back to your website, which is the ultimate place where you want to send people, that you have also exactly the same kind of messaging happening on your website. So everything is in sync, it's consistent. It lets your people know who are looking that, oh, yeah, we're not getting a wishy-washy all over the place kind of messaging here. She knows what she's about. He knows what he's about.
And consistency is key, exactly what you're saying, because oftentimes people kind of rewrite everything and it's completely inconsistent. And you'll read maybe their about and it really captures what they do, but then you go to their website or you go to another place. And I think people feel like they have to really like change it up a lot and rewrite it. And so it starts to dilute, which is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Really thinking about, and also testing. Every time you go to a networking event and have to give an elevator pitch, if you're not really getting any response from it, nobody seems interested in what you're offering, it may be that you need to revise and update the elevator pitch. So
I have to throw in a little story with that one. I was at a last December, I sprained my ankle. And so I was at a networking meeting and we did speed networking, which is like people were moving from table to table. And I'm like, well, I can't move. I'm stuck. I need to have my foot up. And so the person who was leading at my table kind of said, well, if you're staying here, you need to give me a different pitch every time we're doing a new round. So I was challenged because I had to give 6 different pitches.
That's great. That's a great exercise.
It was amazing because it really made me think, like, what is it again about who I am in all of this and how I'm working with my clients and what they're getting out of it, like the whole experience. And at the end, she kind of got back. She's like, man, I really like this and this pitch that you gave. It was just like, you just nailed it with those. But then I also realized, I mean, depending on who the audience was, it allowed me to shift a little bit. But it was a really, really cool exercise to.
Oh my gosh, that's so valuable.
Yeah.
That's so great.
So it's almost like we have to do this more often instead of, again, like going from person to person where we just do the same.
Right.
It's like, how can I, again, like change it up just a little bit? Because again, it forced me to think who's sitting at the table. And did I need to bring in just slight variations to maybe what I usually do? So it's not a bad thing to shift a little bit, as long as the core of your messaging obviously stays the same.
Have you ever met a person through networking? Some people have very complex business services.
Yeah.
And especially when I worked at the chamber in Kutztown, there would be events and there would be certain members that it was so complicated what they did that it wasn't, if you haven't articulated what you do, there were people walking around for months, not really understanding what that person did so it is really important to be succinct and clear and use that exercise, write 6 different pitches, start with a question or, what have you, to make sure that people understand what it is that you do.
So I have another question. That's just totally going off script here a little bit, but I would love, with anybody in the audience is still listening here, if you're thinking of pitching, like if you think of your dream place where you either want to speak or you maybe a magazine or newspaper you would like to have a write-up in, like if you want to put that in the comments, just for us to maybe have a chance to talk about like what kind of goes into doing PR for specifically those places. Again, if you're looking feature article, if you're looking again, like maybe a breakout speaker or a keynote speaker or a panelist, like where are you dreaming to be in? Like, where would you like to have something pitched? because that is the question that Lori asked me, and I still have to fill out the form. And I'm really, really struggling with that, to be honest, to figure out where do I want to be listed, right? Where do I want to be seen? What are maybe the places for me to be in? Because there are so many, many options. And I'm actually hoping by understanding better of like who I am, how do I want to further my own business, like what would be good places to be. Like maybe you can give us some tips, Lauren, like how do you even find, how do you go through like the hundreds and thousands of options that are out there?
I spend much of my time doing that research in the background on behalf of the client.
Mm-hmm.
And I have clients at all different levels of expertise and visibility. And so, sometimes you're looking geographically, obviously you're looking at the industry. And for me, what I do is if I have, say, an attorney as a client with a specific practice area,
Mm-hmm.
I will look at the big 10 newspapers. I will find the journalists who cover those types of stories.
Mm-hmm.
Or attorneys like that person. And so I will reach out and begin to foster relationships with those attorneys. And even on a lower scale, whatever the industry is, I'm looking for others who are doing similar work. And where have they been promoted? Where have they been interviewed? And that's a starting point for identifying those periodicals, newspapers, podcasts, the millions of podcasts. Help a reporter out is something that I subscribe to. I also subscribe to another service that provides links for podcasters who are looking for guests with specific topics in mind. So there's a lot going on in the background, and that takes that burden off the business owner, because I'm in the background doing that work for them.
Nice. So Jen mentioned maybe Fig Lancaster, which is the magazine. I know they have an online and a printed version.
Yes.
Which I love looking at Fig magazine. It's always like,
yes,
really
Fig
cool,
is, I remember when Fig was founded. I remember that.
Yeah. So Jen, thanks for that. That's definitely a great place to be, because it is a magazine. I think all of us get, like, I subscribe to it. I love looking at it and reading the articles in there. It's a really neat way to get to know different businesses, because the write-up is just short enough to give you a good introduction, but at the same time, it gives you enough information to really want to get to know someone and maybe do a follow-up on that.
Here in Berks County, we have Berks County Living, our premier lifestyle magazine, and they do a segment every month, a feature called In the Limelight. So I've had some clients featured there. That's a great 2-page spread with a photo. And also, just one quick thing on our regional magazines and lifestyle magazines, and even the business newspapers, they all have editorial calendars, and you can request the calendars, because they have those plotted out more than a year in advance, obviously. And each month they focus on different topics. So I also use that as a guideline for, okay, they're looking for women, small business owners, or what have you. So that's a little hint that, not every pitch is accepted, of course, but at least you're sort of directing people, putting people in the right direction. If that's what they're doing, they may be able to be interviewed for that feature.
That's neat. So I just, the month of September, I actually ended up doing something for some of my branding clients, if they were interested in. That was like a business spotlight.
Yes.
So, I mean, really the point of any of those things is to get more eyes on who you are. On creating a little bit of a buzz around who you are. And so I ended up like asking my clients 4 different questions. Said, just give me just like quick answers. Again, like, why did you start your business? Why did you need branding photos? Do you have like any tips for other entrepreneurs? And what was the 4th question? A little bit again, like exactly what they do, like describe a little bit your services. So again, like in that snapshot, they were able, and again, like if you have your marketing piece together, your PR, really, it should take you 2 minutes to answer those questions for me, in order for me to do promotion for you for free.
Exactly.
And tagging everyone, because I asked for Instagram links, I asked for their website, I asked for their LinkedIn, website, and Instagram, because I want to make sure that people could actually connect with them. So it's like such a simple way. If you have your PR sheet together, and I don't know, is this up? We're at 29 minutes here, so we need to wrap it up.
We didn't.
I know, we're looking at the time. It's like we're having such a good time talking. There's so much more we could be talking about, but it feels like if you follow this simple guide that Lori just pointed out to us of having your short and long bio, having your LinkedIn about and your about page on your website be really your sales pitch, and then have a pitch template that has really good quality images of you. And again, like all of those short write-ups and the services and what you actually bring out, the value and mission that's driving you, then you are ready to pitch and become visible in the most wonderful way and expand your business in a beautiful way that is tailored to you and to the clients that you want to serve. So, Lori, any last words of wisdom before we finish up here?
Here's my final word of wisdom. Think about yourself as a business owner. When you do client discovery, what do you need to know about your client in order to work with them? And then think to yourself, do I have that information ready? That if on a moment's notice, somebody said, I want to interview you for X, I need this today, somebody else canceled, you are going to shoot that right out through email because you have it all in place and you're ready.
Yeah. So if you want to follow up with Laura, we'll put her link down in the comments. And if you're looking for a headshot and branding photography to really up your game with your media kits, I will put my information below as well. And thank you again so much for being part of this today, and looking forward to next time. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.